Finally, the day has come. The time is here. I can finally get started on this. Yeah, you in the background, Cocatus Jr. But got both of them ready, set up, and it took a lot of restraint to not immediately start painting all of this. However, now that it's finally streamed, I can finally start getting this done. So of course, we need to do a base layer. I'm gonna start with purple. But yeah, no. Today has been an interesting day. Mostly just had a lot of time just figuring out what I wanted to do on a few different things. And once I got this primed and ready to paint and was dry, I was still waiting a few hours before I actually started painting this, because I want to make sure I actually did this on stream. But man, I was so excited to have this that I did not. Yo, where's the yo-yo? I mean, if we're talking about our boy, he's back here. However, I am just excited to work on this guy, because I didn't expect him to arrive early. The box came earlier than I expected from when I first ordered it, and now I have this beautiful bastard that I desperately want to paint. I have an idea for how I want to get this guy done, but I also want to do a theme for both of the two, because I've got this guy, and I've got this one off the side. My idea is, yep, purple. We're going to do purple, but what I want to do is I want to do purple, but focus it down on two shades, so I can tell a story within these two models. So this is going to be purple, but I'm going to focus more on blues for this guy. This is going to start purple, but I'm going to focus on reds, so that we have one who's a bit more aggressive and then one who's a bit more rational. Because that is my initial idea. So I'm hoping to just get these guys set up and going. But first, there's going to be a lot of purple used on these minis. So definitely going to take a while, but I'm excited because I've been very curious and I've always wanted to build a knight army. So being able to get my hands on even just a box of war dogs that was on a discount, yeah, I'm gonna get started on these guys, see what I can do. First off, just gonna get the base coat going. Gonna do I'm thinking of Nagaroth Knight just as a darker purple, just because that way it's easy to go up or down in value, and I can just see how I like the purple looking for the rest of the actual model. But just want to do purple on the armor bits first, and then on the weapon casings. Then we shall go from there. But yeah, no, besides that, I was just running out and about today. I had to cash a check, and I went to go visit my family for a little bit, and I bought a candle. Hey, Kat, how's it going? Hey, Adam. And hello, Crab. But yeah, my day's been a little busy, but overall, I've enjoyed it so far. And now I'm finally here. I can start with getting this guy done. Understandable, understandable. see. Okay, I'm taking the other one. I'm moving it back because there's not a lot of room, and I need to raise my camera up a bit just so I can move this guy up a bit more. But yeah, overall, I'm just excited because finally I have a chance to actually paint these guys. Very excited to get an army built off these guys. And I just want to see what I can do because I haven't really painted or built anything this large yet. So this is definitely a new foray and a much bigger project for me. But I want to see how things have gone. Try something new, try something different, see if I can handle it well. So, here we are. Now that you mention a crab, yeah, that. Because it's Steve and Bowser, isn't it? Hi, Barbecue, what's up, man? How'd stream end? I didn't see... I was there for a little bit, but I had to back out just because I got a little busy. And I was having more issues with Jack Black as Kirby when. I don't know if I'd want Jack Black as Kirby. I got a couple things done. Fair. Hey, that's just how it goes when it comes to Legends Arceus. You think you've got a stacked day where you're going to be productive, and then it turns into a handful of things getting done, and you just go, well, I got something done. But when it comes to voicing Kirby, I think I would just want... I'd want them to take the approach of how they voiced Link in most of the Legend of Zelda games, where it's just the original Japanese voice actor screaming his lungs off, and then we just go, okay, now we just keep it the same for everything. Because I just want a woman to give, like, maybe it's just sexist, but I feel like Kirby just should have a high-pitched, cute voice. So I'd want, like, a woman to do the cutesy high voice just for Kirby to have a few things. I want to try to get it done before Z8 comes out, but at this rate, twice a week even, I don't know. I mean, you were at 5 stars, so if you're going to do a full Dex run, yeah, it's going to take a while to finish Legends Arceus. But if you don't mind getting like 7 stars, because I didn't finish the full Dex in Legends Arceus, then you can get it done fairly quickly. It's just a matter of what you prioritize and who you want in your party. Now, Ryan Reynolds was Pikachu, Jack Black as Link. I don't know if I'd want Jack Black as Link. Maybe just because I'm poisoned, because when I was growing up, I unironically bought and liked the Legend of Zelda cartoon from the 80s. But I don't see Jack Black as a good Link. I want Link to just be more of like... I want him to be courageous, but I want him to be more calculating and calm. I'm only joking. No, that's fair. That's fair. I figured you're partially joking just because as much as Ryan Reynolds is fun as a character, Detective Pikachu is not a good enough movie for me to say anything too positive about it. Because the villain's entire plot was absolutely dumb. But that is a rant for another time. And I have a channel. I should probably just make a video on the Detective Pikachu movie. I am, yeah, no. I liked him as Bowser. Yeah, no. Jack Black as Bowser was good. But Bowser is a very... I just don't know if Jack Black would have a decent range or be calm enough to be Link. Because for the most part, when it comes to Link, I like seeing him as like the rash go-getter who runs at danger because he is courageous, learning to pace himself. That's kind of just what I've always seen. But again, Twilight Princess is my favorite Legend of Zelda game, so I've always been biased there. Hello, Adam. But I don't know if Jack Black would do Link justice. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad voice actor, I'm just... I've never played Legend of Zelda. I mean, I would highly suggest some games over others. It just depends on what you want out of a video game when you play Legend of Zelda. Because Legend of Zelda's been around for so long that they've changed genres multiple times. And depending on the game, it's either a good or meh take on the genre. Thanks, Adam. All I've seen of Zelda was the YTP of the one show. Yeah, that's fair. The cartoon itself was, like, it's not good. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fun to watch, but I'm not saying it's a good Zelda thing. The issue is that when that came out, they hadn't even released the second Legend of Zelda game. It was only like The Legend of Zelda on the NES. And for anybody who's played that game, yeah, there's very little actual story in the game. Most of the story that we know from that game is reading the game guide, like the booklet that used to come with the video games. I miss those. I dearly miss those because those were just fun to own and collect. And so they just came up with a personality for Link. May not have been the best, but it was fun, and it was targeted towards kids, so having the mouthy hero talk back to the confident princess, it was all good. I have played Metroid. I hope it gets a good movie adaptation. I'd watch it. I would like Metroid to get some love, but I want to be cautious with Metroid, because I grew up on the Prime series. I grew up on the other Metroid games, but Other M was such a mess. And I just don't know if I would want anybody to try for too much of a series. Because Other M plays well, but if you know the lore and where the story is, it's just not... It's just that. I had Metroid for Game Boy. Metroid on Game Boy was good. Because that's when you had Zero Mission and you had Fusion. The robot is cool and not gold. I mean, yeah. So far, I'm not putting gold on. I'm thinking of using Balthazar gold for like the actual metallic parts, but that comes later. You think Logan Paul would try to sue Metroid? You know, depends. Wait. You know what? Yeah, no, that I can see that. I feel like Logan Paul probably knew somebody who played Metroid Prime back in the day, so he probably wouldn't. But if his thing came out much earlier, or if Metroid Prime didn't exist in the early 2000s, I think he probably would have tried for it, yeah. I could see that. However, with his generation, with the millennials, because that with Prime being basically just one of the best shooter games in the mid-2000s from 2002 to 2007, I think it's just too generationally defining that he probably wouldn't try it now. But if the timeline was different, some dates were changed, probably. Metroid Prime and Transformers Prime came before Prime. Yeah, absolutely. But hey, some people just need a kick, or they just need a chance at something, and they will take whatever they can get. Logan Paul versus Amazon Prime. I would love to see how that goes down. It won't. He's not that dumb. But it would be funny. Thank you, Adam. Oh, hey, Corbin. What's up? All good, man. I am new to this model kit, so hey, we're new at something. Thank you, thank you. Okay. You know, crap, I think I would pay money for that one. I think I would pay money for that one. Oh, hey, Melissa. What's up? For me, not much. I am here. I am smelling a new candle that I purchased because I like to have candles lit whenever I paint, and I'm just tackling a new model. I've got this guy off to the side. Then above him, I've got his sister. And I'm just trying to tackle them one at a time first. At least getting a base coat down. Thanks, Corbin. I'm tasting a new candle. Yeah, I've got 3 of them right now off to the side. I've got Ocean by Bath & Body Works, which is actually pretty nice and calming. I do enjoy it a lot. From Tuscany Candle, I have Spider Venom because I was out in Target. No, sorry, it was Safeway. I was at a Safeway and they just had it in the Halloween section. It smells really good too. And then from, again, Tuscany, when I was at Fred Meyer today, I got Woodland Waterfall. Thank you, thank you. I like the Lox flavored one. Tastes like wax. You beat me to it. There we go. Great minds think alike. Oh, hey, go for it. What's up? My candle smells like pine tree. That's always a good smell. Pine tree is a good smell. Okay. Gonna let that purple dry for a second. Now I want to get the armor plating on this guy. Thank you, thank you. BBW is the go-to fragrances. Lavender? I can't do lavender. I know a lot of people love lavender as a smell. I just can't get. There's a mystery between me and the lavender as a smell. I just can't do it. What BBW? Apple cinnamon is the best. Apple cinnamon can be good. I've had some good apple cinnamon candles. Thank you, Corbin. Back me up here. Yeah, I'm not a lavender smell kind of guy, which is ironic because I work at an assisted living facility and old people love lavender. And when your job is putting lotion on old people, you smell it more than you want to. Big blank wax. Bath & Body Works. Oh, okay. Yeah, like the first candle I got was the Ocean one, and Bath & Body Works is like the place I went to because it was right next to the Hobby Lobby because at the time I ran out of milliput, so I was trying to find more of that. More of a chill candle, not too crazy. No, that's fair. Bath & Body Works. Hotel Travago. But I remember I just wanted a new candle because I like having candles lit whenever I do something, like if I'm late at night and I'm doing some research, writing poetry, writing a book, working on my video scripts, or just doing this, painting minis. I just like to have a candle nearby with lit and just making the place smell better. And I went through because I was going through the candle section. They were too sweet for me. Like a lot of the candles are towards other people, and they're just sweet scents, and I can't have it be overwhelmingly sweet. It's lit because my nose is really sensitive to like crazy smells. Yeah, no, Corbin, you know exactly what I mean. And so for me, I was just going through like, okay, I want a candle that's not incessantly sweet because if it's not too sweet, I can get it and I'll enjoy it. But if it's too sweet, I'm just going to be there going, you know what? No, I can't. I don't want to do this. Thanks, Go for it. I hope you're having a great day, man. It's also been a little bit since I last saw you. What type of books do you write? Right now, I've got a sci-fi book I started writing back in high school that I'm revisiting because one of my friends, he and I are both writing books, and every time the subject gets brought up of us writing books, it always goes down to he's always going, "Hey, man, I've read your book. I think you should finish writing it and get it published." And I tell him the exact same thing whenever we talk about his books. So I've got a book. It's a sci-fi setting where basically colony ships out in space going to find a new home planet for Earth for an expedition. On the ship, you have one ship dedicated to scientists trying to discover and unlock more scientific mysteries. Basically, hey, make sure we don't die so we can ensure that when we get to the new planet, we can just colonize it quickly. And then the other one is the civilian ship that does everything else like agriculture and stuff. And so main character is a guy who lost his arm in an accident. And so he builds essentially just Samus's arm cannon, but he builds it because his area of expertise as a scientist is plasma studies. And so he makes a plasma cannon to attach and replaces for his prosthetic arm. But that is kind of his area of expertise, so it kind of makes more sense. Have him team up with somebody from the civilian ship and a woman whose primary focus is echolocation, and then a couple of cast of other people going through the ship, helping him discover who killed the guy who literally learned how to reverse aging without surgery. That's basically the whole premise of the book. That's what I was writing, but I just never finished it because I got busy. But now I'm trying to go back and finish that. And then I also have one based on my first D&D character who is a former slave, got his own freedom, and became a traveling jeweler as a merchant. And he recruits somebody to take on after him as he's old. And so that's kind of the books I've been working on. Thank you. It's rough. It was written, I first started writing it when I was like 17, so I need to update a lot of crap, but I want to finish getting a rough draft done first, just so that way I can say, okay, I got a rough draft done, let's finish it. Thanks, Corbin. And then my day overall, sorry, just to jump back to that question, my day's been good so far. Mostly I was just doing a little bit of running around and trying to get some stuff set up. I mostly was just paying bills, getting a few tech things set up, and then I primed these guys, and then I mostly just did that for today. I haven't really done too much else, but also I just didn't want to do a whole lot else. I was waiting. I was trying to be patient before I started painting these because I really just wanted to take a paintbrush to them as soon as I finished priming them. But yeah, no, my day's overall been pretty good. I've did some shopping trips, got some stuff figured out, and now I am here. But how's everybody else's days been so far? For the book thing, it was something I started a while ago that it's rough. I definitely need to fix a lot of it. But so far, as a concept for the science book, I really went far. I think I was like 10 chapters into that book. And so I want to go back. I want to redo it. And I want to finish it just so that way I can say, you know what, even if it doesn't sell that much, if I can at least finish it and this, I'd feel better about myself because I was really motivated to do it in the past. And I really want to see if I can just get it done. Rate this creature design. A blind reptilian dog that's only way of telling friend from foe is biting it. If its teeth puncture its skin, then it's an enemy prone to adapting vehicles into its pack. Oh, okay. Mine's been okay, school just sucks. Understandable. Thankfully, I mean, I'm going back to college, so I can't say thankfully I've escaped school anymore. But yeah, school is definitely a thing. Have you watched the show Foundation on Apple TV? No. I unless if somebody recommends me a show, I normally don't know much about actual TV shows going on because I don't pay for subscription services. I just pirate everything. And because I pirate everything, I mostly just watch anime. So I'm definitely interested. Out of curiosity, what was it you voted for in my poll? I voted for Oregonian. Like I said, I came in, I was biased. I did not read the whole poll. I just saw Oregonian and chose it. When I actually read it later on, I probably would have gone for the bottom one, the masshole one. But I just saw that and said Oregon Pride and just jumped straight for him. Have I seen Squid Game yet? No, I've not seen Squid Game. Some people told me to watch Squid Game. I just haven't. I saw it blowing up. I know what it is. I just never watched it. I don't know. Because people have told me to watch it. I'm just not really want to watch it. It's not a bad concept. I'm just not sure if I'd really be all that invested in it if I actually watched it, you know? I assume, yeah, you assume correctly with me. College is school for people with Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah, I agree there. Masshole 1. There we go. I like it. It's a pretty cool premise. Okay. I'll probably have to give it a shot and check it out sometime. Honestly, originally I was going to college just to finish getting my associate's degree in business. But the more I've been praying on things and the more I've been consulting, it feels like I should just go back to my original plan from when I was 17 and I should just do occupational therapy again. I was just unsure because normally you have to be smart to be in the healthcare industry, and I just never felt I was. But the more I apply myself, the more I realize I could do things. It's just he didn't have time to relegate for himself to study as I needed to. But as an adult, I can definitely fix things up. So probably just going to be occupational therapist is what I'm going to try to go for. Whether that works out or not is a different thing altogether. I think you'd be really good for it. Well, thank you, man. I hope so. I mean, it'd be healthcare related, but it would also be different, similar, and better than my current job. So I definitely appreciate it more. It's just more of I got to do actual research to find out, okay, how do you what schools have a credible course for this? How do I get set up? Where do I go? Where do I get business for this? Because just like everything else, you got to find the place where you get decent business, and then you got to set up shop and get going. And that's going to take a while. You've experienced and seen a ton of them? Really? I don't have a lot of experience with them in person. I've not met too many. But, I don't know. I'm willing to give it a shot. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, then it's not nearly as bad as going into medical debt to become a doctor and never become a doctor, you know? So, we'll see how it goes. I want to try to pace myself so that I work and pay my bills without having to worry about, oh, I don't have money, because I don't want to live off of student loans and college grants. But yeah, we'll see how that goes in the future. You're smarter than me. I still doubt that, Crab. I know you say it all the time, but I doubt that. It's because me and all of my siblings are on the spectrum. I've literally known dozens. Oh, okay. Oh, I mean, fair enough then. Not all occupational therapists are created equal. Makes sense. Some are better than others. Okay, fair. Yeah. Oh. Have you lit your leg on fire? Thankfully, no. However, with the video game I did buy today, I might end up doing that because I'm trying to get a degree in medicine. Ooh, I wish you luck there, man. I wish you a lot of luck. Let's see if I have a box nearby. Yeah, I do. Okay. Where is it? Just out of reach, but enough to take one step to get close by. My daughter's on the social emotional spectrum. She has IEP now. She has an IEP now. She does great in school thanks to her being evaluated. Oh, okay. But yeah, so my old computer died. Krabby the chemist. There we go. My old computer died back when I had a desktop computer, and the game I tried playing on it was Hogwarts Legacy. I got a Switch 2 recently, and so I figured, you know what? I've heard some things about how the Switch 2, it's only digital. You buy the actual cartridge. You have to download everything. I'm like, come on. I know Nintendo's dumb. They can't be that dumb, right? Yeah, it turns out they're that dumb. The actual cartridge itself, I put it in my Switch, and I had to wait for it to download. But because I don't have internet in my house, it didn't really download. So I've been dealing with that a little bit and going, oh, well, that's annoying. Because, you know, when I first bought the original Switch, I bought a Switch Lite, popped in the cartridge for Pokemon Shield, and then went, okay, no, this works. That's great. I'm glad that this works. This one, no, it did not work. So just got to work on stuff and get it figured out. Not all cards do that to my knowledge, but a lot do. Yeah, most of them do apparently. I just got unlucky with the game I chose. But because my desktop died, so I couldn't play Hogwarts Legacy, even though I bought it for Steam. So I connected it, and I'm going to play it on my Switch just so I can at least play the game. Because, you know, I do want to play it. It looked fun. I just couldn't back at the time. I emptied the lighters into a Sprite bottle, lit a spark into it. It's lit. After I thought, hey, this is a dumb decision. I shouldn't do this. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But yeah, what animes do I watch? Right now, I caught up on Call of the Night Season 2. God, you should try making Sugar Rocket Fuel. It's lit. There we go. So all first-party games are digital. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, when it comes to all that stuff, I hadn't paid too much attention because I wasn't sure if I'd ever get a Switch 2. I was always going to eventually, but I was holding off for a little bit just because, out of principle, because I didn't like the pricing. And also, the games for the Switch 2 I'm actually caring about are Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and then also, crap, what's it called? Pokemon Legends ZA. I'm hoping one day we get a new Star Fox game, but that's unlikely. All right. Take care, Corbin. I'll see you later. But back to other anime. So far, getting caught up on Call of the Night. Bulbacu and I are on the same thing here. Call of the Night is amazing. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. It's a really good anime. Outside of that, been trying to get caught up on Uma Musume. I'm on season 3 now. I've got the web series, I've got the movie, and then I've got the Snow Princess, I believe is the name of it. It's the side series for Ogre Recap. I got that stuff to do. And then I'm also trying to get through Gundam because my friend suggested that I watch Double O. And so far, first impression on episode 1, I wasn't the biggest fan of the characters in Double O, but it's anime. For the most part, I try to give everything a 3-episode rule if I'm really interested in actually seeing it. Have you seen Konosuba? Yep. Thoughts on used Conda Victory Bell? When it comes to Victory Bell, I'm conflicted on the new Victory Bell Mega Evolution. Because on the one hand, I think for a lot of people, like if you've used a Victory Bell, this probably means more than if you're somebody who's never used Victory Bell before. I've used Victory Bell on Gen 1 playthroughs a lot because I like Victory Bell. I like Bellsprout. My whole thing is Victory Bell was always an intimidating Pokemon. So going from a Pokemon that normally was incredibly intimidating and giving it a goofy mega where, yeah, it's strangling itself and looks like a tied used condom, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm a big grass poison fan and it hurts my heart a little. No, I'm with you there. Because on the one hand, I get the idea that, yeah, you can have goofy mega evolutions. I'm not saying they're bad. I liked Dragonite's new mega evolution that got revealed because Dragonite to me was always a goofy Pokemon. But Victory Bell was always, it had the piercing eyes, the random teeth at the edge of its mouth, and a black gaping hole that screamed every time it was on screen in the Pokemon anime. And so for Victory Bell, it feels odd to give that one of all ones a goofy mega. Because Victory Bell by itself is fine. I don't know why it needed a mega. I would have thought, like, I don't know. When it comes to Gen 1 Pokemon, I don't know if I would really want to give too many of them megas. I started watching Freyrin and Seven Deadly Sins. Freyrin's good. Seven Deadly Sins was fun up until like season 3 I watched. I didn't watch season 3, and then everything that happened afterward, I know a lot happened. I just didn't pay attention. But I don't know. I'm conflicted because I don't mind goofy mega evolutions for Pokemon if the Pokemon is kind of goofy at front. Victory Bell, I see why people say it was always a goofy Pokemon, but especially because of the whole thing of it started the thing of every Pokemon James owns in the anime would bite his head when they were brought out. Like there was a weird fixation where every time James in every series, he had a Pokemon that would jump out and bite his head. And that was started by Victory Bell, but Victory Bell was always intimidating to me. The goofy one, I'm like, it's not bad, but I'm not sold on it. Brought back design choices from Dragonair, and everybody loves Dragonair. Victory Bell, I see where they went with it. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with it, you know? If I could, I'd be watching Overlord again, but those two I'm watching are fine. I mean, Overlord is a good series, though. I don't blame you in the slightest with that. What's your favorite top 3 Space Marine successor chapter? Top 3. Okay, well, number 1 is going to be the faction I first started building for Warhammer. Hold on, let me grab a couple minis because I got my boys here. So, first Space Marine successor chapter, my favorite one is easily the Dark Krakens. They're the first army I started building. It's a Salamander successor chapter based on a water world. All of my minis for Warhammer since then have been based on I'm building all of them for a water world. And I just like the Dark Krakens a lot. I also wanted to learn how to paint black armor better. I'm still not the best. These are my first few attempts. And then this guy is from the most recent set where I took a bunch of jump pack intercessors, clipped off their bases, and I tried to make them make it look like they're underwater. So I'm starting with those. For successors after that, I like the Celestial Lion from the Imperial Fist, Channeler Guard from the Blood Angel, Riftstalker is like the Raven Guard, but white from the Raven Guard Legion. Okay. Yeah, Dark Krakens are my favorite. After that, it's been so long. Because my thing is, I like Chaos more than the Loyalists, because my favorite Legion is the Iron Warriors. The saltiest boys and the biggest assholes. Dark Kraken chapter is cool. It's like Salamander but water. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why I like them. That's why I'm building an entire faction for them. And then my Sisters of Battle, I'm making it so there's a monastery for... We were deliberating on the names. I was thinking the Abyssal Maidens. Somebody else said something else. But basically just a chapter that serves alongside the Dark Krakens and learns that are based off of the Order of the Ardent Shroud, so that they learn to work a little bit. They're a bit kinder. But they're all focused on, hey, it's glory to the Emperor because we're killing the Xenos of the water world that's threatening the citizenry. Boo. Hey, look, Iron Warriors are my favorite. I'm a salty asshole. So the salty assholes were always going to appeal to me. I found out I can drive a training. GTA Online. Life is good. Nice. Sisters of the Deep. Yeah, that's another name we could go for it. Well, welcome back, Corbin. Good to have you back, man. I'm sorry that you couldn't sleep, though. Okay. Have that. Now, where is my... There it is. But yeah, no, I jumped on the chance to get some Chaos Knights because I always wanted to get a Chaos Army. However, before I started doing Iron Warriors, I just figured I should try to learn how to do Warhammer first before I kit bash, because Iron Warriors, it can take a lot of kit bashing. As a Trader Legion, I would choose the Night Lords. They look so cool. The Night Lords have drip. They are immaculate. And I will defend the Night Lords. I like the Night Lords a lot. I think they're a really good Trader Legion. They're fun. Also, Night Lords fans aren't nearly that annoying as compared to other faction fans. Because, look, I like the Thousand Sons. I think they're a tragic legion. But, again, Magnus did nothing wrong is the same joke as Griffith did nothing wrong from Berserk. If you say that unironically, you're wrong. If you say that as a joke, it's funny. But I like the Thousand Sons. I like how they work. I like their lore, but some people defend Magnus way too much unironically. I know nothing about Warhammer, but I'd probably choose Necrons or Orcs. Fair. I choose Word Bearers. I feel like no one really chooses them. I like Word Bearers. I think the reason why nobody chooses Word Bearers is because they make a lot of sense in the setting. They just don't have a lot of sauce. Like, there's not a lot of stories that are known as the Word Bearers do something interesting. Like, most books in the Warhammer Black Library, you have, like, this faction does something, and that's what gets people, like, excited or interested in that faction. But you don't have a lot of people who just go, oh yeah, here's this faction doing something. Necrons kill team set. Understandable. The Necrons have always been good. And I'm glad they get love. I'm painting them for Horus Heresy. There we go. There's a chapter of the Ultramarine and is called Nemesis. Their armor look mixed with Night Lord armor because they worked together with the Night Lord before the Heresy. I like that. Thoughts on a Warhammer movie/TV series? Were they attempting to doing one? Yes. Amazon were in talks with Henry Cavill at the helm to do a Warhammer series. I was very excited, but there's been like no information about it for years. I haven't heard anything about it, at least. And I don't care enough to go looking for it as much as I probably should. I was interested in the Warhammer TV series because I think depending on how they do it, it could be a really good series. You know, Shady, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It is the giant bulbous shape and two tiny legs with the two arms on the side. Yeah, no, that I see what you mean there. I see what you mean there. Yeah, no, it is in safe hands with Henry Cavill. I have all the faith in the world, since Henry Cavill's like the main man doing it, that it'll respect the lore. My issue is, what story are they telling from the lore? Because if you want to do a good like Warhammer series, I would say the best starting point would, to appease the fans, I would say the best thing if you want audience, but introduce Warhammer as a setting to general audiences, Henry Cavill needs to be Eisenhorn. Get an Eisenhorn series, because as cool as the murder, the battle, and everything looks, if you're going to do that, you need to go big or go home. And I'm not certain Amazon is going to put the money to go big for a season 1 concept. But if they did an Inquisitor detective series, they could get a general audience in there because people like crime detective shows. And it would introduce people to Warhammer from the human perspective, with Eisenhorn being like one of the most beloved like Inquisitors. I think they said it was progressing smoothly in the last earnings report. That's good. Kept thinking about Diva as character. Understandable. Papa Quail, please teach me of the Warhammer lore. Diva from Overwatch. Yeah, Diva from Overwatch. Warhammer lore. Okay. Simple setting. Hell is real, and it gives everyone magic. If you use too much magic and you're not prepared mentally, you will be converted into a demon. Internet can't stop thinking about her either. I mean, let's be real. There's a reason why the internet never stopped thinking about Diva. But yeah, no, part of Warhammer, if we did an Inquisitor stories, because from the Inquisitor books and the Inquisitor stories just in general, they're detective novels going through of, okay, humanity is good. I am trying to keep humanity alive. How do we best make sure people don't die before they get turned into demons? And that'd just be a good introduction series to make it easy. Oh, hey, James, what's up? They got to bring anime girls into Warhammer. They already have cat girls. We have canonical cat girls in Warhammer. We're just waiting for GW to officially bring in the cat girls and let us know how they look. But we know they exist. And I want to see my legion, my guardsman legion of cat women. However, besides that part, because they're either furries or they're cat girls, it's somewhere in between, and I'd be okay if Star Fox joined that way into Warhammer. Regardless, I don't know. I would just say like the main thing should be, if they're gonna do a decent attempt at Warhammer for general audiences, because they always want to do general audiences for they should really look at putting in a detective story that focuses on, hey, I go around searching to ensure that the enemies of humanity don't triumph over us. Here's my story of how I stop that on this planet. It'd be a good introduction. It teaches you the rules of the series, but it's not intrusive. Or cat boys, like very horrifying looking cat girls. The thing is, we're not sure. Games Workshop has never officially said what the mix of the felinids are from human and cat mix. They've never officially shown anything. And so that's kind of where everybody's making the joke of, we're either getting furries or anime or weebs. Like, it's one of the two that are there. We just don't know because Games Workshop hasn't given us official Felinid artwork yet. So that's kind of where we're at. Slibby the Frog. Yep. We get a Dreadnought and a Maedress as an official set? I don't think so. Wait. If they are like actual cats, then nope, Iron Chain toss it. Understandable. Like I said, as far as Games Workshop, they have never officially said what the Felinids look like. We just know that they are a mutant offshoot of humanity, and they have cat features mixed in with humans. That is officially all I've seen and all I've heard from all the official statements about them. And so we're waiting for the first Games Workshop author to write out like a detailed description of like, here's what a Felinid actually looks like. Who was that YouTuber chick who abused her cat? Oh crap, wasn't it? I know there was one who there was a whole controversy behind her throwing her cat behind her. I don't want to say the wrong name though, because I know that one and another one who is related to her, but not the cat thing, are very angry if people misquote or say anything about them. I want to say it's Alinity. Will they look like anime cat girls? If they look like anime cat girls, it's breeding time. I agree, Shady. I agree. But like I said, Games Workshop are filled with cowards right now because they do not tell us what the Felinids truly look like. And the public demands to know, do we have cat women or do we have furries? Because there's a very big distinction, and depending on which side wins out in that culture war, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, for the cat abuser, I think it's Alinity, I want to say, but I don't know off the top of my head. Because I haven't heard anything about her since, gosh, I think 2021 was the last time I heard anything about her. But I don't know. I couldn't say. Also, I would like to admit I did not realize just how pink this pink was going to be. However, I'm still using it because I'm going to do a overcoat on this in just a minute. But yeah, I think you guys are right. Yeah, as far as Warhammer goes, I would like to see a actual grand scale like war. But on the other hand, somebody made a post that I can't ignore because somebody showed a photoshopped version of Rowan Atkinson when he did Blackadder for the final season in the trenches of World War I, and made it look like that was a thing for it, for Warhammer, and that would be phenomenal as well. But I'm also biased because I think Blackadder was just a funny show that more people should watch. But that is my thoughts on that. I don't know, because Warhammer goes, if they could get the funding to do go big, go home, and do a massive scale battle between Space Marines and a faction, that'd be cool. I would think any faction besides the Tau would be my thoughts. Blackadder was kind of blah for me, but I never gave it a real try. I mean, Blackadder, I will say this, it depends on which version of Blackadder you watch because it depends on the era. I think the Tudor era was the most boring of the Blackadder series because as much as I like medieval history, there was just more funny material. I thought that the plot with the arranged marriage was funny. Oh, the arranged marriage was absolutely I would argue that was the best part of that first run was the arranged marriage with the was it a duchess from Spain? Like that one was funny. However, my favorite run of Blackadder was the one where he was the butler to one of the queens. I think it was Queen Mary. And then the one that everybody was referencing for the Warhammer post was the one where he was a British officer in the trenches. And so you got to see a bunch of nihilism and nihilist humor from the soldiers as they go, all right, we're going to fight. Most of us are going to die, and we're going to move 6 inches closer to Berlin if we're successful. Are you guys ready to do this shit? It is basically just the jokes of, yeah, life in the trenches suck, but also we're just here and we can't do anything about it. I've got a very hot take on history. I'm curious, what's your hot take on history? Where's my speed paint? Ha. But when it comes to history, I love hot takes for history. So lay it on me because I'm very curious. World War II is overrated. World War I is criminally underrated. I agree. However, like most things, people focus on the sequel rather than the original. Because sure, the sequel might be more technically impressive. It wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the original. Especially if you actually study World War I, you understand how World War II works. No one talks about World War III. Well, Mr. Time Traveler, that hasn't happened yet. I think 2 had very distinctive villains, not as interesting. Understandable. That is very true. Oh, a year too early, sorry. Spoilers. Do I have a different bone? Because I'm not sure I like this color going over. Something a bit more white. Tsar Nicholas and President Wilson are my favorites. Yeah, that's understandable. Especially with there's a lot of interesting history behind the Russian Tsars around that time. Also, the sad rise of communism, which has done irreparable damage to this planet. However, I can't blame Tsar Nicholas for not being able to stop that. That wouldn't be fair to him. All these paints and I can't keep anything organized. Goodness gracious. The Bolsheviks are the worst. Oh no, absolutely. Okay, so I was trying to do the pink on the head and then try to tone it down with a white brown. I think I'm just going to go for a white first. A very thin white. Where's that Corax? That's Gracier. Fenrisian Gray. I don't need that. Let the Serbs reap what they sowed. Fair. Communism is the government style that killed 10 million in Holodomor. I mean, communism is... I don't know how communism was given the best PR out of any governing system, despite the fact that it's never fully worked whenever it's been used, and yet people still defend it to their dying breaths. Like, whoever got assigned to do the PR rep for communism, they need a raise because they did that too well. But yeah, no. There's only so much a person can do, and there's only so much that the average person will actually handle. Their raise was taken by the dictators. True. Bernie's probably the best PR guy in the 2010s for that cause. Fair. What's your opinion on dropper bottles versus Game Workshop pots? Honestly, here's the thing. I will break and show off a little bit. When it comes to, let's see, where is my favorite? Where are my favorites? When it comes to, I'm just gonna move these off to the side. When it comes to actual dropper bottles versus the pots, here's the thing. I like the pots a little bit better because it's more controlled and I get what I want out of the pot without getting too much more. The droppers without a paint mixing bearing in them is just annoying and really difficult to use. If they come with an actual like mixer, like all my speed paints, because I get them from Army Painter, and so they actually have a ball bearing inside to mix them, the droppers are a lot better in my opinion when they actually have that. However, they're also, it depends on what I need. For example, I don't like Korax White from Citadel. I just don't like how it applies. I like Wraithbone because it's thicker, but I don't like it. And then Nagaroth Knight, I think, sticks phenomenally well. It's what I used on as the purple for the base on these models. I think it goes really well. I like the pots because it helps me use a specific amount of paint without using too much. But I like the droppers when they're done right. And I just water paints down by using a wet palette in general, so there is that. But yeah, that's just kind of my thing on the paints. It's not that I necessarily dislike them. It's just there's different reasons to use different paints. And Vallejo is fine, but I like Games Workshop's paint consistency a lot more than Vallejo. Because Vallejo is either super watery or it is super thick when it comes out of the bottle. If it's super thick, I can work with it. If it's super watery, I just don't like it. And Games Workshop doesn't have too many paints that feel super watery when they come out of the pot, so I don't run into that issue as much. I do from time to time, but not as often, so I don't worry about it as much. There we go. Mix that in just a tad. Yeah. For me, it's kind of a mix because different paints are good, different paints are bad. It really just depends on which company makes better X color paint. And so I just use them as whatever is most convenient at the time and what I like as I experiment. But there's not really much of a definitive guide on paints that somebody's made where they explain like, hey, this paint from this company works well, this paint from that company works better. Here's what they look like. Here's what I prefer. The most I've seen is one guy who does like, hey, I'm experimenting with contrast paint. Here's how it looks when I use it like this. And I do like his stuff. I don't remember the name of that channel. But I remember there is a guy who does that. And I like his commentary on things. That's fair, Crab. Taste is very important when it comes to paints. House paint, really? I prefer deck paints. I think the deck paint just tastes better. But it is what it is. Well, some of us don't like to get hit by a truck every time we take a sip, Crab. I like that yellow paint that goes on the noodles. That's understandable. That's understandable. Thank you, Archon. Thank you. Car paint tastes a little rich to me. I agree with you there, Crab. I agree with you there. I also can't afford car paint, so I haven't really done much except to give it a taste test because my buddy gave me some once. And you here ever seen Pants Hat? Yeah, I've seen Pants Hat. I've watched his stuff from time to time. My introduction to him was the femboy. It was the Goth IHOP video that he did. Goth IHOP was my introduction to him, and then I really liked the Subway, and then I started watching his stuff. Iron Painter Pinksy Pink smells like cotton candy. You know, that makes a lot of sense, Archon. I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. I don't remember what my first vid of his was. I mean, understandable. But no, I like Pants Hat a lot. I think he's got some good running gags, and I really like his stop motion stuff. But I also just like stop motion in general. I think it's a bit of a it's an acquired taste. Not everybody likes stop motion stuff, but I kind of grew up watching a lot of Tim Burton films, which are mostly stop motion. So I was lost from the get-go. Bro, I got that makeshift plushie of a Turskit and the hippo recently, and it's worth so much, but I have a hard time parting with it. Nice. You want to hear a pro tip to win games? I mean, I'm down. Can I say that it's if I'm gonna guess, Crab, is it act like a real Tyranid player and eat the minis that you kill? Yeah, there we go. Eat the minis. Going for 120 bucks on eBay. Holy crap, really? Wow. Yeah, no, Crab, there is a whole thing where I want to go back to Mexico for a little bit because I want to talk to some of the people who make sugar skulls and like sugar candy stuff. And I want to find out how they model, like make the sugar models, because I want to make edible like minis for my tabletop. So when I play against a Tyranid player, I can just break off a piece of it and just go, all right, eat it. You killed the mini, eat it. Okay. Moving back for a bit. And I think I'm going to experiment, because that original idea was this one's going to be purple leaning more towards blue. This is going to be purple leaning towards red. So I want to try... I have a red here I've never used before. It's poppy red. I want to see how this looks if I throw a little bit over purple. Because for an actual red, I have Mephiston red, and I also have Evil Sun Scarlet, so I can make some stuff there. But I want to test this red out to see how well it layers over purple. And I know I got another red over here. Actually, maybe I should use this one first, because I've got a Blood Moon red one. Make some Death Guard Marines from the juice at the bottom of the trash can. Oh, that's such a good and evil idea. Oh, that reminded me of... There's this cursed post I saw. Poppy's Playtime Red, Bob Ross YouTube edition. Oh, that... If I'm doing that, I might as well just call Charlie over, because I'm going to need her expertise. But no, that reminded me, there is a post that I saw. I was scrolling through a Warhammer community, and there was a dude who mixed in his own shit when making paint for his Death Guard army. Like, it was a 4chan post, so it may or may not be real, but I just remember reading that going, oh no, oh no. Because the thing is, there are people who would unironically do that I'm like, oh no, some people are disgusting enough they would do that, but I don't want to believe that that's possible. But I know too many people where I think that's absolutely possible. Blood Moon red over the top of this. Let's see how it thins out. Yeah. Oh, very no. Yeah. Yeah, it was... That post... Oh, that was a whole thing I remember reading. And of course, according to the post, the game store that was there closed down and got new tables as soon as they found out that he had been mixing his actual shit into his paints, which... Just things you hope you never hear about and hope are just 4chan. Oh, hey, I want to post something to ruin people's day rather than, oh, I hope that's not real. Please tell me it's not real. Picked a bad time to pay attention. That's how it goes. Look, if Kirsha can scar me by jump scaring me with sounding stories whenever I catch into her streams, I can scare you guys with one bad story of a dude mixing shit into his paint and bringing it to a local game store. I picked a bad day to stop sniffing glue. Yeah, no, I understand that. Sounding? Oh no. Crab, if you don't know what sounding is, I'm giving you the option to run. Do not look it up. You do not want to know. If you're thinking of the sexual kind, yes, it's that kind. Opt out. Yes, opt out. You were? Okay. Yeah, you know what it is then. Yep. I promise I don't. Bro, my friend flipped a glue stick and it laid on my scalp. Oh, I promise I don't actually sniff glue. It's a quote from Airplane 1980. I haven't seen Airplane for a few years. I really should rewatch that. Someone I know got sent 2 rod packs. Yeah, no, people are wild, man. $12 times 173. You will find that I am actually very hard to gross out. No, fair. That is math I cannot do off the top of my head. Till a good bug comes by. Let's see. So if it's 12 times 173, I'm going to say oh, it's hard to do mental math when I'm this tired, but I'm going to say it. Ah, crap. 896? 876. Really? I feel like it'd be closer to 2000. Like, I was gonna say 2046. No typo, it's 876 over 2000. Oops. Oh, is it supposed to be 12 by 17? I wrote in the wrong calculator. Oh, gotcha. Makes sense. Balls, you jump scared me with math. How could you do such a thing? So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like how over the purple. It's very subdued dark purple, and I appreciate that. Well, sorry, subdued dark red color. I appreciate that a lot. I got the painting Warhammer Autism, not the math one. 2076. Holy! Ah, I got so close. Damn. Almost a cyberpunk number. I got the pasta autism. I had the Star Wars autism. Like, I had the lore and theory crafting autism when I was a kid. So Star Wars definitely got a lot of attention from me. Bionicle did. Redwall got a lot from me as well. And then Legends. To this day, I will still watch content creators, like old videos on like, here's theories about this game or this location or this item from The Legend of Zelda. Like Zeltic, I've been watching for years. McIntyre, I think, rebranded into something else and hasn't uploaded for a while, but I'll still watch his old stuff. Thoughts on Disney? When it comes to Disney Star Wars, they killed my interest and good graces for them with episode 8. And so I really haven't wanted to give anything from Disney a try. I know Andor was good. I liked Andor. I thought Mandalorian season 1 and 2 were good. Season 3 was bad. Book of Boba Fett was horrendous. Ahsoka, I did not care enough about to watch, and I'm glad I didn't, from what I heard. Kenobi, I almost had an aneurysm watching with my friend. Like, it's... My main thing is, I have said this multiple times, if Disney wanted to do a successful Star Wars story, the best thing they could have done was not include Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, or Carrie Fisher. The best thing they could have done, and here's how I would have opened up a new episode 7. It's 100 years into the future. The Republic has been established. The only shot you get of the original heroes are hollow statues in the Garden of Coruscant, honored as the freedom fighters who saved the galaxy. That would be my cameo of them, going, these were the great heroes of the past, but they're gone and it's our story, and it's now our time to handle things. Because Luke changing his character for everything. And so episode 8 just killed any openness I would have had to Disney just from the get-go there. Finn was the most interesting character, and he got sidelined by everybody else, so I didn't care to really learn about anybody else. Rose Tico was awful. Thoughts on Disney? What did Silverhand think of Arasaka? I'm not quite there, Crab, but I'm getting close. I have my only one true boycott of Disney has gone since 2019 when they completely shat the bed on the Avengers. No, that's fair. I've never had that much skin in the game for the Avengers stuff. Not because I hate Avengers, but I was a DC kid, and so it's not that I don't like the Avengers, I just liked DC superheroes more than those. And the DC cinematic attempts have always been bad. So at least Marvel has a decent amount of movies and a decent continuity for a few years. DC, we got nothing, man. We got the Dark Knight trilogy, and that's basically it. Can't nostalgia bait people if they don't bring back the old cast. No, for sure. It was a building disdain that boiled for 10 years against a company that hates God and ruins all IP. That's true. There's just, I don't know. Because older Marvel, there was a charm to it that just felt new. Now it just feels like Marvel continues because they can't stop, rather than they have an actual story to tell. That's kind of where my opinion has been on Marvel's storytelling for the past, 6 years or so. I'm not saying there's no stories to tell. I'm just saying they don't feel as... I don't want to call them inspired because I feel like that's wrong, but there's not enough reverence or purpose behind the new stories coming out that I just don't care. Money. Yeah, that's true. Yo, what's up, Corbin? But yeah, as far as my thing goes, I think that when it comes to Disney Star Wars, they should have just said, okay, 100 years in the future, we don't connect, we don't do anything about the old series, we just do our own thing, we take the ball and run with it. It's a new world, it's a new galaxy, let's see what we can do. I think that would have gone better. And also, we haven't gotten anything set in the Old Republic, and that is such a better setting than the future or around the prequel and sequel and original trilogy era. The Old Republic allows for some much better storytelling and much more interest that could happen in the setting, but we don't get any of that, so... Oh. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was really liking how the red stacked over the purple on this, so I'm gonna stick with that. My main thing now is the white decided to fly off my bristles a bit, so I need to fix some of that armor. Didn't they do that with Mass Effect Andromeda? I don't know. I haven't played the Mass Effect series yet. I need to. I just didn't have a console back in the day that wasn't Nintendo because my mom didn't want me to have anything besides a Wii. So I never got to play Mass Effect. I want to go back and play it. And since I'm about to have a computer and internet again, I might just stream it when I go through it again. Old Republic also has cooler designs. I agree. Large periods exist between the original 6 movies, decides to make a nearly pointless spin-off movie about the plans. Yeah. I don't like how, as much as I thought Rogue One was an enjoyable movie, I don't like, and semantics, I don't like how they give the plans to Leia. Because in the original, the dialogue in episode 4 is Vader saying, "You received a transmission." Is essentially, they received a message, they traced the message to her ship, and that's why they went after her. The fact that they handed off the plans to her directly, it's like, she didn't receive a transmission, handed a piece of evidence. There is a massive difference between those two. And so I see what they were trying to go for on that. It was a good dramatic moment, but I wish they did it differently, personally. So, I'm not saying one was bad, I'm just saying they could have done other things better. That was always something that bothered my tism a little bit. But Mass Effect Andromeda suffers from multiple other factors. Isn't Andromeda where they had you choose 3 endings and the only difference is the color of what happens, basically? I didn't play Mass Effect, but I remember the controversy behind that game. Like strange combat systems, zoom in to deal more damage, poor story, and a detachment of the character from the player. Oh. Also, Mass Effect 3 had the ending controversy. Oh, okay. As I said, I haven't played the games, I've just heard things about them, just as like an adjacent source. Yeah. One thing is, I've been looking at, so a few years back, actually it was almost a decade now, I became a Nintendo supremacist as a kid and still kind of holding that view when looking at console gaming. Understandable. The endings weren't that bad, but they weren't good. They left a lot to be desired. Fair. I will say, one thing I want to look into getting is, I want to look into, because, so, as you guys know, for those who are new and don't know, I live in Oregon and I am proud of my state. But one thing that came out a few years ago was a group got, like a video game developer outside of Portland got permission to make a Redwall video game. I like the Redwall series, and so this from them. I played the game. I remember when it was in alpha, and they had an open alpha where you could test the systems to give feedback on, hey, this works, this doesn't, here's what I noticed. So you could give player feedback. I played a little bit of that. Then I came back a few years later after I was a missionary, and they had a full game, and I played it, and I really enjoyed it. Since Redwall is allowing video games to be made, I kind of want to see if I can get permission to make a Redwall video game. Because I would love to do that. Because my thoughts is take a Redwall story, make it a Fire Emblem game. Because the entire point of a Fire Emblem game from the Game Boy era is you take a small ragtag group of people and you fight through impossible odds or an army to get to your destination and do whatever you need to do. And because it's not an official Fire Emblem game, I could style it and make some tweaks on what I like about Fire Emblem, what I dislike. But I could also try to get I would also ensure that it was pixel graphics because I miss pixel graphics in Fire Emblem. But I would like to try that because the whole thing is you can easily use a Fire Emblem style gameplay and story to be a coming of age story for a young For those who don't know of Redwall, there's an entire volcano that is ruled by a Badger Lord and he has a successor. If you just have the Badger Lord go on a story of learning how to become a better ruler, you could just have him go with a traveling circus, fight their way to save Redwall from an invasion, and you just have character development of, are you there to be a warlord or are you there to be a protector of the innocent? And you can have that dichotomy and change between the characters as things go on. Pixel-graphic Fire Emblem is probably best era. I agree. Despite the fact that I like the BOR, Path of Radiance, and Radiant Dawn the best. I mean, fair. Some games are better, or some just have better stories or characters that we like more. But I think we can all agree that the pixel graphics were they were fun in just how they looked. It was flashy, but to a fun degree that was just enjoyable to see. And so I kind of want to do a little bit of game dev in the background, so I can try to make a Fire Emblem engine, hire some pixel artists, get the license, and then just make that, because I think that'd be fun. All right, I think it's time I need to break out the metallic colors. because now we got to do some trim. I want to see West translation for 3, 5, and 6, maybe genealogy, but that one is a bit wild and kooky. Fair. However, as long as we get a chance to see some of it, I would be okay with it. Because I would rather us have a chance to go through it than just have it be lost media, never for us to see. Because even if it's jank, I've gone and played like fan translations of like the first Fire Emblem game. And that game was, gosh, I remember 1 was very fun, but the reason why I would say 1 is a difficult Fire Emblem game is because the maps took me like 2 hours to cross. Like you had like a handful of maps, but they were almost 100 tiles wide. And so you had characters racing across the entire place to try to get to where they had to go. And if you lost a character, you would either have to reset 30 minutes to an hour and a half of progress, or you just simply had to go, all right, they're gone, and move on. Can't play Fire Emblem, it's so yuckers, but I love the characters. No, that's fair. Like, as old games, and so I'm kind of used to like the old jank and the old like graphics for a lot of things. Because my first console was a Nintendo 64, and I have played Atari games. My uncle had an Atari, and he had us play it so that we would understand how games have evolved since then from his childhood. And I'm appreciative of it because it definitely gave me perspective on things. But it's also why I was kind of okay with being a Nintendo fanboy as a kid, because I didn't care about graphics. Some people do. That's good on them. I'm glad they find something they enjoy. It was definitely not a thing that I cared about too much. Agma and Navari were always 2 of my faves from that one. Fair. Honestly, I don't remember enough of that game to even remember the names of characters. Gotta go have fun putting the Warhands. All right, thank you, Peyton. Take care, and I'll see you later, man. But thank you for stopping by and for talking with us. I hope you take care, man. Graphics snobbery gets old. Well, graphics snobbery was always something I didn't care about, just because almost every generation we got better graphics. The only time I became a graphics snob was when Gen 8 was getting teased and we saw the horrendous graphics on the Switch for Pokemon Gen 8. Especially when Xenoblade Chronicles 3, a phenomenal game everybody should play Xenoblade. If there's anything I can tell you or convince you to do from the stream, play Xenoblade. But, get back on topic, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has phenomenal art direction, and their open world is fantastic. And yet, Gen 8, Gen 9 Pokemon looks disgusting. The textures and the environment design is just not good. I give more credence to because they were more creative with some of it, and I like the art style for Gen 8 better. Like, I will crap on the poor performance and the beginning of Dexit. Like, that is fair game in my opinion. But I cannot deny that Glimwood Tangle is a phenomenal and absolutely a Pokemon location. That place won me over pretty quickly. Graphics. Xenoblade is like number 3 on my list of series to get into. Highly recommend it, man. I have a friend who streamed the first 2 games, and we're eventually going to get her to stream the third one. Third one is my personal favorite in the series because I like the combat more, but that's also because I am a slut for job class systems in RPGs. As soon as you have a job class, I am so in. Graphics are fine, but if they mean nothing if you sacrifice gameplay or fun for them. I agree. After Persona and Civilization. Oh, that's fair. I need to get into Civ and I need to get into Persona as well. So I'm right behind you there, BBQ. I am right with you there. Oh, this is going to take a lot of Balthasar gold. Job class? Yes, basically, I like RPGs where you have a character and you can change how they fight in combat based on your preference. Having a job class system means you can have, okay, maybe I want them to be a warrior, maybe I want them to be a knight, a paladin, a thief, a bard who can get the fuck out of my party. Like, there's a... Sorry, if you know that reference, you know what... As somebody who mains bards a lot, I just couldn't resist that reference. But job class systems and RPGs are my absolute favorite. I think they're just fun because they offer a lot of variety and experimentation. Xenoblade 3 went, what if we not only have a job class system, we make it build upon them so that not only are you rewarded for using it and experimenting, but you're also rewarded for max leveling stuff and grinding. So there's a reason to really pay attention to the job class system in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. 2 is, like, as far as Xenoblade games go, 1, everybody likes it. I like it a lot. Its combat system is kind of okay explained. You can get through the game with a main 3, but you can also do the risky builds and the other characters and experiment more, and it's a lot more fun with them. But you just got to learn how to play differently. 2 is a gacha system without a way to wail. And that hurt my soul playing through it because I had shit luck in the gacha. So I got the worst characters when I rolled for new characters. So as much as I like 2 and its story, 2's gacha system did me so dirty that I'm always a little apprehensive about recommending it. Because, again, story is phenomenal, and some people get... Like, my friend had streamer luck. She got some good rolls and some good characters. I did not, and so I got really burnt out while playing through the game. I personally liked how Fire Emblem had most characters in static classes or had divergent split, and not 9 possible options like in Awakening and After. No, I agree with you there, Bulb. I like... Fire Emblem, I think, was better designed when they gave their characters... You have maybe 2 diverging paths on what you're taking, and you can use that to represent your characters, like that person's character growth. It was a lot more focused, and so there's a lot more at stake, and it meant a lot more when somebody got a class promotion. Nowadays, you can switch them to anything you want, and it's like, on the one hand, I like being able to change classes for certain characters. The other, not so much, because there's less story involved. For example, 3 Houses. I do defend the option in 3 Houses to reclass into anything, because they put in strict requirements that you have to get, but any combat class can use any weapon, so you can build up the proficiency to change if you need to. For example, I don't use archers. When I play Fire Emblem, I do not use archers. I don't like mages. I don't use archers. I just get heavy infantry units, and I give them all javelins. And so when I played 3 Houses, one of my favorite characters from a mile, like, I fell in love with her so quickly, was Bernadetta. Bernadetta is a archer class by default. I changed her to a Pegasus Knight because I didn't have a Pegasus Knight in the Black Eagles, and because she had phenomenal strength growth, Bernadetta got me a lot of stuff really quickly, and it worked out really well for me. Speaking of gacha, the Overlord gameplay I have is a new event where they gave the treat character soda. Huh. I think having the protagonist change a bunch makes sense, but I liked how each character had a theme. Absolutely. Fuck archers, we use our fists in this party. I mean, I'm not saying archers are bad. It's just when it comes to Fire Emblem, I don't like using archers. They are integral to certain army formations and levels. I just find them underwhelming. Why would I take an archer if I can take another cavalier with a javelin? As soon as the javelin comes out, I know I'm winning because I'll just kill everything. I use mage. Ike with Ragnar is the best mage. There we go. There it is. The foe mages. Yep. Just like Lindis with a light brand. But no, when it comes to mages in Fire Emblem, I think there's good mages. It just depends on what you use them for. I just don't like dealing with them. I like having characters that just hit like a truck, but I give all of my spear users javelins. So not only do they hit like a truck, they will beat your ass into submission if you try to be cheeky, if the computer tries to be cheeky and just snipe them from afar. Kind of like my strategy is give everybody a lot of strength, give them speed, give them javelins. Watch as everything kills themselves as they run towards my army. That's kind of how I've normally played Fire Emblem. I know that's not always the correct way to play certain characters, but that's just kind of how I enjoy it. Especially because I like the Knight class a lot. Even though the Knight class definitely has its flaws, but it needs to have weaknesses for it to be as strong as it is. But I just don't, outside of healers, I don't use a lot of actual mages. In every game that has companions, I use the ranged ones and I run into the punch stuff. Fair. Radiant Dawn gives you some cheese with foe mages. I mean, Fire Emblem, I will say this. I liked the weapon as much as I don't like durability in a lot of other games. Fire Emblem with weapon durability made sense because giving your character a limited use of their ultimate weapon or of a magic weapon was kind of good. Like Lindis with a light brand is easily one of the most difficult characters to deal with in that game. It's not it's what's her game called? I don't remember. But Lindis with a light brand was strong. Joshua with a light brand was devastating. And of course, that was just kind of fun, but a light brand had a limited use, and so it would break after enough times. So you kind of wanted to use that sparingly. But when you brought it out, you could deal massive damage and kill everything in sight or around you. Cheese, stairs, and lactose intolerance. I give my character Iron Lance 50/50 and Hand Axe 20/25. Understandable. Hand Axe is good. Hand Axe is really good. I will use hand axes. I just focus on javelins. Because if everybody has both a melee and ranged option at the same time, we're fine. For the most part, my characters have been fine. Sometimes they kill too many enemy units, and so they get overwhelmed with chip damage. But that has happened to me a few times. But outside of those rare moments, for the most part, it works out pretty well for me as a strategy. You get tiers to the ranged weapons. But yeah. Mm-hmm. I have a big rib cage. Really? Wind Edge, Storm Sword, and another one after that, Radiant Dawn. Hold on, you get multiple magic swords, not just one? Oh boy. Tempest Blade? Okay. You get the same thing in lance and axe. Ah. Do you know that King Arthur had 2 enchanted swords? I'm not sure. I don't think I did, actually. Because I know he had the one that was given to him by the Lady of the Lake, but I don't know about the second one. At least nothing comes off the top of my head. Crap. Very fun chucking a 40 durability javelin straight down at everything. Yeah. Now, Siege is absolutely where javelins shine the most for me. Or if I just wanted to kill a bunch of things, I would just give a javelin to my knight, send the knight out position, let him soften up and kill almost everything, and then my cavaliers would come in and clean everything up. That was my typical strategy. Sword from the Stone and the Sword from the Lady of the Lake, I believe. Oh, that's right. He did get the Sword in the Stone first, didn't he? Okay, now I kind of want to see. Do I want Balthazar Gold on this one's metallic limbs? Oh man, I need to move this off to the side, and I need to get this one in. I love this game so much. They're 100,000% going to be on my Steam on stream at some point. Understandable. That's why I'm getting ready so I can do my Pokemon Mystery Dungeon run. I got the emulator and everything running up on my computer, so as soon as I have internet, I'm absolutely going to start doing Mystery Dungeon streams. And then after that, I'm going to do a stream and a strategy guide for beating the Pokemon Stadium, Elite Four, and Gym Leader Castle. King Arthur is the OG Kirito. Yeah, in a way. Yeah. Well, as long as everything goes through without too much of a hitch, I should be able to get everything ready for you. I will be turning them into full-length videos and editing them down too for a series. King Arthur, I had to try, though. He kind of earned it. That is true. He did earn it. I mean, Kirito technically just did a lot of off-screen level grinding, so I kind of give it to Kirito. It's unsatisfying because, again, almost everything Kirito did was off-screen, is how he got his power, which is not very satisfying. Because, you know, people like watching training montages. It's a very common thing. And one thing I want to do when I have money is I want to buy an original Game Boy, a copy of Red or Blue, and then a copy of Stadium, because I want to do the thing where you can upload your Game Boy Pokemon into Pokemon Stadium, because that was a thing. It's just not very common, and few people had the tech to do it, but I know you could do it. I just don't know how, and I want to do that because I'd like to trivialize the game. Care to Grindchest stream win? Yeah, well, since the author is going back and redoing Sword Art Online and doing it floor by floor, there'll probably be one if that ever gets adapted. Because technically, I think for the progressive stuff, they're only doing a handful of movies. So again, we're not seeing every floor, which is still annoying, but still. Kirito was like, I did some mining off screen with the hot bar full of diamonds. Yeah, no, yep, that's kind of what it came down to, yeah. Because between episodes, he just jumps up in power, and none of us kind of know, and it's just kind of shown when he reveals it to things. Like, somebody should correct my knowledge if I get this wrong, but I believe Kirito level 40 in episode 3 with Sachi. Like, he is in like mid 40s, and then isn't he close to 70 when he gets to episode 4 and he goes to Titan's hand? My numbers are bigger than yours. Like, isn't that a whole thing? Oh, you were joking? Well. SAO went from 8 to 10 to 8 out of 20 over the course of season 1 and 2. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think season 1 had a good opening hook, but the characters just never felt interesting enough to care about. And then second part of season 1, nobody likes Alfheim. I think as an idea, Alfheim was interesting, but you go from the tonal whiplash of death game to, yeah, now we're just saving the person who is in love with Kirito, but we don't see much of a romance. Well, we see a romance, but we don't feel a realistic romance between them. And so it's not really that impactful to watch Kirito struggle to save Asuna when, I'll be honest, when I watched SAO, I didn't care about Asuna in the slightest. I cared more about Lisbeth. I cared more about whatever the small child is who had Pina the dragon. I cared about Klein. I cared about Tiffany. Like, I cared about these other characters, but I didn't care at all about Asuna. Even in the Mother's Rosario arc, I didn't care about Asuna. I cared about Yuki. I'm sad Yuki died, but at least Asuna had a chance to form a personality in the Mother's Rosario arc. Peak SAO's episode 3 where the party dies and I'm bawling. Fair. Asuna is what's wrong with women. The competent ones, at least. Yeah. No, I agree. Because Asuna has a potential to be a good character, and she sees when she has more of a focus later on. It's just the problem is SAO season 1 does basically nothing with Asuna as a character. She's just a plot device. And then season 2, not much happens with her at the beginning of it. And then season 2, part 2, with Mother's Rosario, you get so excited that Asuna might have a decent personality that you want to watch it, and it just kind of goes, you're going to care about Yuki, you're going to care about Yui, you're not going to care about Asuna, even though this is her main character arc. She just doesn't do anything. Brett Cooper of SAO. Ooh. I see it though, Bulbacue. I see it. I see what you mean. Do you know that in GTA Online, if you play the Diamond Casino heist, that if you stole the diamonds, that assuming each diamond is worth AK, your team would steal 23,040,000. Interesting. And SAO side characters were better than the main. Xenon best girl. Xenon was good. I like Xenon. Honestly, the only reason I even care about SAO is because I played the Fatal Bullet game, and that was unironically good. It's a good third-person shooter with a decent story, and they've got better side characters because they invented new characters, and you get characters from the progressive story that are in it. Yeah, Phantom Bullet I think was really fun. I liked it as a game. I've done 2 playthroughs of it. I'll probably do a playthrough for it on stream, honestly, because I actually did enjoy that game, and I would want to convince people to play a decent SAO game because it's a decent third-person shooter. But that was a good one. I like that one a lot. I think, oh, what's her name? Because you get the Arfis AI who's with you, but I don't want to use her. There's somebody else. There's somebody from the first game, which that first game sucked. I think it was like Hollow Memory or something. Like that one had an awful combat system. I did not finish the tutorial because I hated it so much. Have you watched the Gun Gale alternative and Alicization? So Alicization I did see. I didn't see anything after the end of it when Kirito's brain got cloned. Because I know there was another arc that came out after that. I just forgot about it because I was only watching SAO with my friends at that time. For alternative, I did watch like most of season 1, and then I got distracted by Violet Evergarden. And I kind of never went back, and I really should, because alternative was actually fun. I remember alternative was good, and then alternative got season 2, and so I definitely need to go back and watch it, because I actually liked the Gun Gale setting. I thought it was more video game than SAO, so I actually enjoyed watching it a bit more. Yeah. That's mostly what I've seen from SAO in the past. Because I know there's a whole thing that came out, and I do need to actually watch it. I just forgot about it. Gun Gale also feels so fresh. I mean, yeah, even as like a video game concept, Gun Gale just feels, for some reason, it feels like what should be a generic shooter, but we don't have a Gun Gale styled game generic shooter. At least I don't. It doesn't feel like there's anything that plays as it looks in the anime, you know? Because Fatal Bullet or Phantom Bullet, sorry, I think it's Phantom Bullet is the actual name. Phantom Bullet was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. And it just hit the right itch for me on stuff. They played 3 fantasy games and only visited Gun Gale for what felt like less than 1 season. Yeah, because Gun Gale was relegated to the first half of season 2. Season 2, part 2 was Mother's Rosario, where they tried to give Asuna personality by having her be friends with a cancer patient who dies. And people walked away loving the cancer patient, still not caring about Asuna. So, bit of a skill issue, but that's just how it goes. Oh. I think I need to start doing some more details. Oh my goodness. Oh, these war dogs are going to take me a while. But yeah, because the progression for Sword Art Online is they go to Sword Art Online, then they go to Alfheim Online, then they go to Gun Gale, then they go to Alfheim, then they have the AR game, the augmented reality game, and then they went back to Alfheim, and then they went to Alicization, which made leaps and bounds that the story desperately needed. How to give someone personality. Step 1, don't give the character they're attached to the personality. Wait, AR? It kind of is a step backwards, but the idea, it's a movie. It's an ordinal scale. That's the name of it. So it was a standalone movie that came out. It's between season 2 and season 3, where a guy made an augmented reality game because after the SAO incident, people don't like full dive VR. So he goes, well, here, you're still in control. We just now make it so you swing a fantasy sword in the real world, so you look like a nerd playing Pokemon Go. Like, I'm pretty sure that movie was made in response to the Pokemon Go phenomena. Basically, the guy behind that game, his daughter died in SAO, and he used ordinal scale to steal the memory, to scan people's brains and steal their memories of his daughter to recreate her so he could have an AI version of her. And she performed an idol contest, like an idol concert in the end. That was basically ordinal scale, the movie. Is, oh, they're stealing people's memories, and Kirito didn't like it because, oh no, that's a memory of when Austin and I got married. Yeah, ordinal scale, if you weren't paying attention, you would have missed ordinal scale, because the most iconic thing about ordinal scale is they brought out ordinal scale in movie theaters. And so you could go to the movie theaters to watch ordinal scale, the SAO movie, but it was like a limited time release thing. And again, ordinal scale, it's not that impactful to the overall narrative of SAO. I don't think they even reference it in Alicization. And so take it or leave it. You don't do much with it. Can't tell you how tired I got of people calling Pokemon Go VR. Yeah, understandable. That guy doesn't even sound that bad. He doesn't, like, he's not necessarily that evil. It's just the problem is the side effect of stealing the he was taking the memories of the SAO survivors of everything they did in SAO. So he took more than he should have. And that's kind of why Kirito was like, oh no, my wife lost her memory of why she loves me and why we got together. Because I think that's what happened is I think Asuna lost her memory. Or people were slowly losing their memories of the SAO incident because he was harvesting. And so that was kind of like the whole thing. He was like, yeah, this sucked, and yeah, this trauma wasn't fun, but we can't let the old guy harvest our memories for the sake of bringing his daughter into an AI form. I think that was the movie premise. Again, it's been so long, and again, that movie was unremarkable. So I don't even remember that much about it, but yeah, it wasn't. Does the SAO have an actual canon? SAO technically does have a canon. However, it's weird. Basically, you have the original Sword Art Online series. It went on for a bit and it finished in like 2004. Like it started in like 99, I think, or 2000. And it went on and the author made it up until like 2004, then he finished it. It got an anime adaptation in 2011, and then they've been continuing with that anime adaptation. But because of the backlash of it getting an anime adaptation, he kind of goes, yeah, I wrote SAO when I was inexperienced. I'm going to redo it. So you have original SAO, and now you have Sword Art Online Progressive, which is the redo, where the author is now going floor by floor through all of SAO. But there's also the video games tie in some characters introduced in the Progressive series that haven't fully been integrated into the anime, but are slowly being snuck into the anime. And so it's a whole SAO has a lot of canon stuff that I'm disappointed I know as much about. But yeah, it's a whole thing. And yeah, he gave them amnesia to an extent. I don't remember the full extent though, so I can't quite remember off the top of my head. It's canon Kirito is the sword god. Yeah. It's a whole thing. Like SAO does have a canon. It's just broken. And due to popularity at differing times, it kind of just gained momentum and lost momentum. And that's just kind of where we've been at. And the only reason I paid so much attention to this story is because my friends are more invested in SAO, but I have that one friend who will watch and just ask questions of what's going on. And so I started paying more attention to the lore and the story so I can answer those questions. So it's not my proudest series to have allowed my loretism to work on, but it's definitely been there. I spent a lot of time learning this story. Mifune? I don't... I know that name is supposed to be a reference to something. I'm just blanking right now. Crap, where is that name from? I've heard it before. Mifune, the sword god. Soul Eater, that's it. Thank you. Okay. I knew it was from something I'd seen. Okay. Because Mifune was the one who protected the child witch from Black Star. Soul Eater mentioned, yep. Although there are like 3 sword gods I immediately thought of, but that's his epithet. Ah, fair. Okay, I do remember him. Okay, perfect. Okay. I was a little nervous because it's been so long since I've seen or read Soul Eater that I'm like, oh, wait. Is it that? Is it? Phew. I haven't lost too much weeb credibility. Only some. SAO Soul Eater were the anime I first watched. Did you ever watch Soul Eater? Soul Eater isn't mainstream, really. It's so credible. It feels so weird to think that Soul Eater isn't mainstream. Because I joined the anime community and was watching Soul Eater because Soul Eater was like the second anime I watched. But that was back in 2011 when Soul Eater was like everywhere and everybody listened to Resonance by TM Revolution. It feels so weird that Soul Eater somehow isn't mainstream despite being like so legendary back in the day. Soul Eater and Overlord are definitely my top 5. Fair. At least not now. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Soul Eater was your first? Ah, there we go. Black Butler was my first anime, then it was Soul Eater, and then it was SAO. After that, it was Guyver Bio Boosted Armor and Initial D. I got much further with Initial D. So the Millennials watched Soul Eater, and they... Yeah, we really did, didn't we? Black Butler is my 5th. Black Butler... I like Black Butler, but definitely now that the anime is adapting the manga arcs better, I'm much more excited to see where Black Butler as an anime will go. Because Black Butler is why I defend like English dubs, because the voice for Sebastian is divine. Look, I am a straight man, but that voice makes me feel things, and I have no problem admitting that. Initial D's nuts, like literally. Yeah, absolutely. Not to mention it, that anime got so much prevalence with the memes from the songs that I have normie friends who go, man, where's that song from? I tell them, they go, oh. People just don't know. I started watching Fairy Tail as my 3rd. Oh, Fairy Tail's good. After Kitty stuff, I watched Bleach as my 1st and One Piece as my 3rd. Oh, fair. Well, yeah, because if we're counting Kitty stuff, I started with Pokemon. I watched Spider Riders, and then I got into Bakugan later, because Bakugan came after. And honestly, I kind of wish we got more stuff from Spider Riders because Spider Riders was good. Girls Bravo was my second, never beating the allegations. Hey man, funny thing, I was recommended Girls Bravo. You all know who recommended me Girls Bravo? One of my friends who was a woman. I was in middle school. One of my best friends, she recommended Girls Bravo to me. And I'm watching it going, I would have never thought that women were this perverted before. Later, she came out of the closet and was a lesbian. And of course, some people were surprised, and I just kind of went, you know, I've seen the anime she likes and the one that she referred to me to watch. I knew. I just didn't say anything, but I knew. My fourth was Heaven's Lost Property. Do not. When the girl in middle school recommends softcore porn. I mean, if you don't want me to ask crap, I want to ask. And yeah, well, we keep that. That's basically it. Because I watched Girls Bravo after, like, my friend recommended me Girls Bravo. This was after I watched the first season of The Testament of Sister New Devil. Testament of Sister New Devil went down the true Gooner route, and I kind of appreciate it for that. The series knew what it was, it knew its strengths, and it played to it. I saw it on Netflix, and it looked fantastic to a 13-year-old. Yeah, no, it does. You just never want anybody to walk in on you as you're watching it. It's kind of one of those YouTube comments jokes where people to roast other YouTubers when they did like the roast me comment section videos is like switch to porn because it was easier to explain. Testament Sister New Devil makes Girls Bravo look like David and Goliath. Yeah, I hate to admit it, I watched Heaven's Lost Property. Hey, we've all seen things. It could be worse. One of my friends pranked me really good by recommending me watch Free. Marcella, you're still an asshole, but well played. I will still say that to this day. I hate to. Could be Boku no Pico. I mean, yeah, it could be Boku no Pico if you got pranked by it. I watched Meru the Succubus. I'm pretty sure that is far worse. Oh boy, gosh. Oh man. I'm glad we got some old weebs in chat because y'all make me feel vindicated that I'm not the only one who's seen some of these. I watched that too. It's not. None of my weeb friends hated me like that to prank amend me that hard. Well, she was a friend of my friend who just happened to watch anime. And so when my friend goes, hey, my friend also watches anime, you should ask her. I just looked at her and went, okay, what anime would you recommend? And she goes, Free, Free. She explained the premise, and I go, okay, perfect. I'll watch it. I watched one episode. I'm like, you bitch. Well played, but you bitch. Been most of my life. Fair. Meru is easier to explain than Heaven's Lost Property. Oh, that's fair. Hey, could be worse. I've seen I think the first 3 seasons of Queensblade when I was a teenager. There's no defending that. I kind of want to go back and do like a series retrospective, just because I don't think I've seen anybody, because I know a lot of people have watched Queensblade. It is way too popular to not have, for people to have not seen it. I just don't hear people talking about that much. So I kind of want to go back, rewatch it, and go, okay, full series review when we actually pay attention to the plot and not what we were actually watching it for. What's the story actually like? Saw Heaven's Lost Property as a 13-year-old on Netflix. Oh. And so it began. Also, if we want to talk about life-changing anime, there's a series I watched on YouTube that changed my life forever. It was Markiplier's Hunipop playthrough. Let's go, baby. Because I know a lot of us watched that series, because Markiplier's even said that was like his most popular series of 2015. Because I think he said that he got more views from that than he did his Five Nights at Freddy's series that same year. Yeah. I knew there had to be somebody here. It's a good series, genuinely. Mostly because Mark is just funny. But that did lead me to playing the second game when it came out. And I remember Double Date was fun. Okay. I think I went hardcore vanilla in taste when I got a lot of different tastes and I feel blessed. Understandable. It's like I always say, vanilla is a good flavor. And sometimes it's good to have a palate cleanser. Because some series are just a little too crazy. Didn't Jack play Hunipop? I don't remember. I never watched Jack that much. Like, he was funny to watch, and I watched him occasionally, but I didn't watch him specifically that often. All right, since we got him up here, might as well get skin tone on the... Oh, I was about to say skin tone on the bird. That's really watered down. Let's get some actual thick stuff in there. Tone down the pink. According to Bare Naked Ladies, it's the finest of the flavors. Huh. I have not thought about that band in a while. It's a line from 1 week. Oh, okay. Honestly, I want to rewatch Saga of Tanya. I haven't seen Saga of Tanya yet. I've got a tab open so I can start watching it soon. I have not actually seen it yet. I know of the story. I know what it's about. I just haven't actually seen it yet. And I really should. You recommend it? All right, good to know. I'll definitely be checking out soon. Oh, goodness. You know, with only a handful of colors, I'm really liking how this is coming along. I didn't know what to expect from this, but I'm really liking this. Yeah, and Overlord are my two favorite shonen isekai quartet. Fair, fair. Looks right. Thank you, both of you. Yeah, I was nervous going into this because I've never painted these before, and these are so big and expensive. I was scared of messing them up, but I really like how the colors have been turning out. My only concern right now is I think I might run out of Balthazar gold trying to paint these guys up, and I need this for Skaven. So next paycheck, definitely dropping in for about 5 things of Balthazar gold so I can get more of that. Do I have a favorite isekai? Its head looks like a bubble gum and I want to chew it. I mean, that is kind of the thing I was going for. I was trying to give it like a real look to it. For favorite isekai, specific isekai, I think I would, Cory in the House is my favorite anime, but for isekai, I'm kind of stuck between So I'm a Spider, So What and Spider Riders. Ironically enough, it's both things to do with spiders. Because I like Overlord, but I kind of just like the other ones because I like the levity a bit more. Spooderman. Oh, yeah. I like a little bit of levity, but I also just liked... It's because a lot of the isekai I watch, I kind of watch the trash isekai, because my whole thing is I started making my short series on TikTok for... These are bad anime that are not necessarily super bad, but they're not super good. And so my whole thing has always been, I'm trying to find the most perfect 5 out of 10 anime, like the mid anime, is how I called it. I haven't found it yet. Konosuba benefits from my weakness of comedy. I think Konosuba is really good. I like Konosuba a lot. It's definitely in my top 3 as far as isekai go. Otherwise, So I'm a Spider is actually up there. Hey, So I'm a Spider is a really good isekai. I think people just slept on it because it just never got a lot of attention. I like 3 of them equally. Skeleton Knight, Anotherworld, Overlord, and Saga of Tanya. Very good picks. I haven't seen Tanya, but I would say that for the other 2 that I have seen and I know, I do think those are good picks. Skeleton Knight is really fun. And Tanya is just Tanya. But yeah, I think that's just kind of where my thing is. I'm also kind of biased because I think Spider Riders was just a really good anime, but few people ever saw it, and it feels like few people even know of it to this day. The only person in my friend group, because I got a couple of friends who watch anime, some to different various levels, the only one who knows about it is the guy who has read more light novels than anybody I know, and so he knows just about every anime that's coming up. He knows more about anime than I do. Talking with him because I learn things from him, because he gives really good suggestions. But that's the only guy that I know of who's actually seen or knows of Spider Riders. Everybody else I talk to, nobody seems to know it. Mid anime, tried Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. No hate to it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't all that great. I'll give it a shot. I'll look into it. People didn't like the video I made on Konosuba and kept saying ReZero was the best, but not gonna lie, it's kind of miserable. Here's the thing. I dislike ReZero. I have always been a ReZero. Like, I've always looked at ReZero and said, I understand why people like it. I did not like it. I dropped it on episode 17 of season 1. I gave it a fair shake. I just couldn't get through it. But I think people overhyped ReZero because it was like the first isekai that wasn't just garbage at that time. But my whole thing with ReZero is opening arc for the introduction, did not like it. The Manor arc, which was phenomenal, I loved that. The murder mystery at the Manor is absolutely goated. It is the best part of season 1 that I watched. Everything after that, I just hated Subaru more and more the more time I spent on screen with him. And the thing is, he's the main character, so if I don't like him, I know I'm stuck with him. That's kind of why I didn't like ReZero. It's because I understand Subaru was supposed to be like not that good of a character, but he was so insufferable that I'm like, look, I understand you guys say he's not a good guy. That's why you enjoy watching it. But all I see is a guy I hate and the main cast I love getting beaten and tortured every episode. I'm not sure I want to continue watching this series. No, just not my taste. And I really don't like it because a lot of people just kind of get up in arms about, oh, you don't like ReZero, then you just have shit taste. It's like, look, man, not everybody likes watching gore porn of their favorite characters, all right? Comparing ReZero and Konosuba is like comparing Evangelion to Gurren Lagann. I mean, yeah. It's a superficial level of comparison that you can make to them. Because they are in the same genre. It's just one is parody and knows the medium it's making fun of. So it's actually not just respectful, but very well researched and portrayed. The other one is its own standalone mystery, just as an isekai, as an initial hook to get people to watch it. Well, they are both the same genre, is where that's where the comparison ends. Because one is, I would argue, a horror detective series, like a horror mystery series. The other one, it's a comedy. It's a spoof adventure series. Oh my man. But yeah, no, it's just, as far as isekai anime go, I like isekai anime. It's just, you either get stuff that really isn't that good or you get interesting stuff. Because, what was that one isekai I was thinking of? Crap. Well, that left my brain, so never mind. I don't even remember it now. But there was something that I was gonna say. Just don't quite remember. This is now gonna bother me. I had something I wanted to say. It's related to an isekai. I was gonna say something. Oh, right, there it is. How Not to Summon a Demon Lord. That was a good comedy isekai, and I liked it a lot too. But it was a decent standalone series by itself, and so I enjoyed that one a lot. Basically, the whole comparison feels like comparing any horror movie to scary movie. True. I hated Isekai Cheat Magician, would give 5 out of 10. Isekai Cheat Magician. I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to look into that. Because my phone just said, oh, hold on, we'll be right back. Issues. It was the most generic isekai I could muster. Fair. I like the Great Jahi will not be defeated. I heard about Great Jahi. I just actually haven't seen it yet. I'll have to look into that one. I think a reverse isekai one that I liked was Plus Sized Elf. Dumb, but it knew what it was as a series. It didn't try to be anything else, so I liked that a lot about it. Have you watched Sakamoto Days? I have not. One of my coworkers tells me I need to. I've seen some clips that convince me I should actually watch Sakamoto Days, but I have not actually seen it yet. I remember years ago when you were looking for true mid and I couldn't think of one. There's my candidate. Perfect. I will go for it. Hold on. Just need it. Yes, Isekai Cheat Magician. I'm definitely going to give that one a look over. Yeah, a lot of people tell me Sakamoto Days is good, so eventually I am gonna give it a shot and look at it. I just have not yet. And yeah, thank you, Barbecue. I would definitely look into that. So 2 candidates for true mid. Hey, I need to find true mid. That was my goal, and it is something I am very dedicated to finding. It's just everything I've seen so far has either been a 6 out or a 4 out of 10. I haven't found a true 5 out of 10. And hold on, I need to grab my hobby knife. Sakamoto Days is like the wholesome of Spy X Family, but very shonen pilled. Fair enough. And I've only seen season 1 of Spy Family. I need to actually watch season 2. Because I liked season 1. I thought it was fun. I just forgot about season 2 and got distracted by other anime. I don't think Hanako-kun is all that bad, but I only watched season 1. Fair. I shall branch out to help look for true mid. I appreciate it. Because true mid is what I aspire, because I want to make a series where I'm like, the perfect 5 out of 10. I'm so tired of people looking at a show going, yeah, 7 out of 10, it's pretty mid. It's like, no, that's not mid. Come on here. If it's 7 out of 10, that means it's redeeming enough you will give it a passing grade. I need to find you did the bare minimum to the point where it's insulting that you only did the bare minimum. That is what I'm looking for. I feel like Hanako-kun is mid compared to other Ghost and Paranormal anime. Fair. 7 out of 10 is medium for me. Mid is bad, but not that bad. I mean, fair. My whole thing is I look at mid as it's perfectly middle of the road. It's got to be a 5 out of 10. Because if there's too many good things about it, I can't call it like true mid. But also, I look at things as I'm willing to call something a 5 out of 10 and still recommend it just because it's like, hey, it's got some issues, it's got some problems, but it's still fun to watch. So I do recommend it. It's just also that I'm also a little picky because I think people rate things too high on a lot of their personal rating scales. Because you rarely see anything close to 5 on most rating scales unless if it's like a abhorrent show that we all know is bad. But I never find anybody who goes, yeah, it just kind of did the bare minimum. It was never that strong. There was never enough payoff in the moments where they were trying to make a payoff. It was just kind of there. And so I am looking for a series that I can say is like potato chips. It needs to be the same as potato chips. Nobody eats a bag of potato chips and thinks, man, that was satisfying. You just go, I did it because in the moment it tasted good. I wouldn't necessarily recommend somebody else eats a bag of chips, though. Mid to me seems uncompelling, uninsulting, and still has quality. No, that's fair. That's kind of how I see a 5 out of 10 is you didn't do anything wrong necessarily, but you didn't do anything good. Like you did kind of like you built a bridge. Like you built a bridge, but there's no safety median. There's nothing holding the bridge together. It's just kind of functional. That's kind of how I see like a 5 out of 10. If it's mid, it's a 5 out of 10. And for me, that means you didn't do anything good. You didn't do anything bad. You just kind of set everything up and never expanded to make anything worthwhile. That's kind of how I've always done it. Yeah, you completed the assignment. Yeah, basically. Okay. His eyes are still a little wet, but I want to get this red in. How about the original dub for Ghost Stories? You mean the joke one where they all got drunk and then just spouted off whatever sounded funny, but kept the same moral for the story at the end of each episode? It's funny for clips. That's kind of really all I'll say about it. There's probably only 20, 30 under 5s that I've seen in anime, and 50, 70 over 8s. Yeah, that sounds about right. Because I would say most anime have moments where they pop off and do something just right, where I can give them they're not a 5 out of 10. That's kind of why my whole thing is I'm on the quest for a 5 out of 10 anime, is because so many I would call 6 out of 10s, 4 out of 10s, 7 out of 10s, but finding a true 5 out of 10, that to me is like the goal. But I am realistically good at sizing up something I'll like. Fair. The original before they dubbed in English. I haven't seen that one, so I can't say. Ooh. Okay. I need to wipe this away. Yeah, that's too much red. Might be mid or might be bad. I was told it was like outright bad, like a 3 out of 10 by one of my friends, just because the writing was just really bad and the characters were non-existent. They weren't even good tropes. So, I don't know. But it is something I should look into. Because that would be a decent candidate. Only probably 4 or 5 sub 3s I could remember. This is all excluding hentai because most are actually bad. Oh yeah, no, I agree with you there. Okay. Goodness gracious, these eyes. You can't see it too well on this side because my phone's not focusing on the face too much, but gotta say, I am proud of being able to get that eye to look like that. Now I just need a decent dot, and it might be able to finish that eye side. But yeah, no, hentai is unironically has some writing and stories I've seen. A lot of it I would give straight up 1 out of 10s. What was that one thing where people edited the JoJo characters changing the ending for the better? Metamorphosis? Oh, yeah, Metamorphosis, yeah. However, Metamorphosis actually has a decent story. It's just traumatizing. It's good in all the wrong ways. I'd give like 5% max a 7 out of 10. Fair, fair. Okay. And you clean this brush off so I can keep that tip on there. I wasn't saying it was bad or mid, but ouch. No, yeah, that's fair. Metamorphosis is like re-zero like that. yeah, that I would call that very accurate. All right. I think I'm gonna call it there though, because I'm running low on steam, but I think so far we got a decent amount of progress on these guys. Mostly focused on this guy. So far, I like how we were able to get the face to look. I'm really proud of that paint job. I need to focus on getting some of the back tuned up a bit more and colored in, but the flesh tone on the face with the mechanical eye and the mechanical part, I like that a lot. We didn't get too much done on the sword, but mostly just focusing on trying to get the trim and the metallics on this guy done. So far, I like how he's turning out. I just need to go over a few more coats with Balthazar Gold. I need to get in the nooks and crannies, but I should be able to get him mostly ready for the base painting later. This one got a bit more work. We got lucky with the red speed paint going over well on the purple, but I like that color. I just need to I need to work on the face. I need to work on getting the actual back painted a bit more, but overall, I think I can say we can stop here and it'll be a decent spot, but oh man, yeah, I'm gonna call it there. I shouldn't be awake, but I love catching when I can. Good paint job. Have a nice Naomi. Thank you, you too, man. It's 4 and I'm supposed to be at work at 11. You'll live. I'm not sure if you'll live. But take care, guys. Thank you so much for coming out, for watching and spending time and talking with me while I paint everything up. I'll see you guys whenever I see you next. I'm working the next 4 days, maybe 5, so I don't know when I'll be streaming again, but until next week. And I'll see what I can do about that crap. I'll make sure to get something ready for you. But yeah, thank you guys for coming out. Hope you all have a good night, that you guys can get as much sleep as possible. Till then, I will see you guys whenever I see you next.